Hello and welcome back to the Friday Feels episode of the UA podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. It's a very special Friday Feels because it's movie week here.
It is.
And we are not just doing an old rom-com that we know and love. We're doing a new, I won't call it a rom-com because we can get into that, but we're doing a new movie about modern dating. We wanted to discuss Materialists.
Yes.
Which we've had so many DMs and messages and tweets and whatever, and TikToks asking us to get into the Materialists for good reason. It is a modern movie, a modern dating movie.
Indeed.
By any account. So consider this the spoiler alert. We're going to get into the movie. If you haven't seen it, you can go rent it. It's on demand right now. I think you can go find it and search it.
I think it's probably on Amazon or Apple TV. You can rent it or buy it there. If you don't want to go to the movies like Jared and I did. We went to the theater for you guys.
We went to the theater, what did you think about going to the movie theater?
So I went last night with Mike and my friend Liza, the three of us. And we went, the only place it was playing near me was like a senior center.
Come on.
So it was the three of us and then like
an old folks home? Like the JCC?
Like a senior community center. Yeah, it was like half of the building is like the movies, and then the other half is they're selling like the snacks that you could buy at the concession were like pieces of cheesecake.
I love this.
It was very. I mean, it was a very cute theater. It almost reminded me of like something that used to be like a temple that they like like when the auditorium says like the Judith Steinberg room, but that was like the theater number one.
The theater was the room was literally sponsored by a family,
basically,
that someone had passed, you know, in that senior center.
Perhaps in the senior center.
Wow, that is great. Well, it kind of shows you where movies are these days. Like a movie like this, generally to find it in theaters, you got to find it right away, or now it's streaming. You can go rent it.
Yeah, it was like right at the end, so I guess a lot of theaters stopped streaming.
I went and saw it in theaters. It was date night. I had a great time. Monday night, 9:15, packed theater.
Yeah, packed. Okay.
Packed. Couldn't believe it because they have you choose your seat. I complained about this.
What city did you see this in?
This is in Delray Beach in Boca. Okay. But like, it wasn't like old people home. Like I wasn't at the senior center. It was like date night. Men and women, popcorn, that's our seats. Like it was very much, and that's kind of like, I guess, where we start. But before we get into this, again, spoiler alert.
There will be spoilers.
Go see the movie. I also, if you're watching right now, I'm in Spokane, Washington this weekend, and then I'm going to be in Providence, as well as San Francisco, as well as Denver, Colorado. Come on out to a show amongst other cities, jaredfree.com.
So there's also a YouTube exclusive that's coming out this Monday.
Yes.
So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube, you're missing out on a lot of really fun bonus content.
We've got some already there for you if you're watching this right on time on Friday. The YouTube exclusives have been fun, a lot of great feedback. People are really watching them, enjoying them. It's a really great way to help us share the show, to get involved with those. We're talking about very specific subjects on the YouTube exclusive. So the one this Monday will be great. It's a red flag deal breaker this Monday. So you can watch just a mini segment if you'd like, and comment, like, subscribe, all those good things. Now, Materialists.
Yes, let's
start on it. What did you think? Good movie, bad movie?
I went in, I heard that Twitter hated it. I heard that there was some negativity around it. So
I went in. There was a fog of drama.
Yes.
If I don't know if it was negative reviews of the movie, but just like
the Rotten Tomatoes score was like solid, but like I felt like the buzz online was like questionable.
Right. The buzz was, what is this buzz? And that's kind of like a lot of news stories now. Right. A lot of events that happen. You go, something's been talking. People have been talking, and you kind of get this like sniff test of like, it feels negative.
Yes. And I was like, did everyone hate it, or did Matchmaker Maria just hate it? Because I feel like she posted a lot about it. She didn't like it.
Matchmaker Maria, who's a friend of the show, was not a fan.
Yeah. And she is a matchmaker, so
probably
more
I can understand why.
More personal, I think, probably for her. I enjoyed the movie.
Yes.
I thought it was good. I know people were upset that it was sort of like shown as they were expecting it to be a rom-com, and it was more of a drama.
So I think that's where we have to start. Let me just start by saying good movie.
Yes.
Any movie that makes me want to talk about it after it's done. Like, I was excited to do this podcast. I was excited to talk about it with you, hear your opinion. I was excited to like bounce. I texted Matchmaker Maria right after seeing it. I texted her, I go, I know why you didn't like this movie. I can tell you right now why you didn't like this movie. And we got into a discussion about it. I texted with my friends about it. It brought up these King Solomon choices, you know, these existential choices that go into this podcast. Do I want to be financially stable, or do I want
things that people don't want to talk about?
Right. It's an icky movie, which to me, if I to go back to that like Twitterverse, what people had, you know, the people that didn't like the movie, to me, they all seem fraudulent. They were all just people mad at dating, mad at the reality of dating, mad that people make decisions in the way they're being discussed in this movie, which is dirty and icky.
Right. And I think that made it seem, I don't know if this is, I've never seen a Matchmaker, but the idea that like it is as calculated as, or mathematical as it's being portrayed in the movie.
Right. No one likes, money is a very emotional topic for people.
Oh, yeah.
And no one likes to hear how the hot dogs get made with money and how people associate with people in their socioeconomic class. Like, you know your parents went out with the rich couple and the poor couple. You never put numbers to that to find out that the rich couple wasn't that rich, the poor couple wasn't that poor. Very much closer to your family than you would like to believe.
Right.
Right. In your imaginary world of how the world worked in your hometown, there was the rich side of town, there was the poor side of town, there was your side of town.
Right.
And you don't like to hear that your side of town was closer to all those rich and poors than that's a little uncomfortable to hear. You know, you didn't have it as hard as you tell people, and you didn't have it as easy as you tell people. You know, it's like somewhere in that range. So this movie kind of like unearthed that and scratched at the scab, which I kind of I enjoyed and was uncomfortable with myself.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I like that they went there a little bit.
Right.
With like some of their lines or some of their like the things they were saying where you're like, ooh, that seems like not something that like is universally going to be accepted by everyone. I like anything that kind of pushes the envelope.
And Dakota Johnson was kind of the vessel for that. Like her role in this movie was not something that like is not made to be likable.
Right.
Like,
well, she even says that.
She says, I'm not unlike, why would you love me? You know, but even the way she's talking about everything, like the way she's kind of, at first she's like this hard ass statistician. Then all of a sudden she likes, I can understand why someone would walk away from the movie being like, I didn't like Dakota Johnson, but she's the mouthpiece of the movie. She's the one that brings up these uncomfortable truths about dating. Someone has to say them. But I do think to start this whole thing, it is important because it felt like people felt like there was a bait and switch. Yes. They were told this is a rom-com, and then they found out this was a kind of a high-end discussion on dating and why people make the decisions they do.
Which I prefer.
And I think this podcast can go both ways. You know, like this podcast, sometimes we're talking about something that's uncomfortable. I think that's why people get turned off by this podcast.
It's too real.
Too real, or too hard, too real for you. But they go, I don't want to hear, you know, and then I get that response a lot.
Right.
We're like, oh, my boyfriend's not like you. You know, no, oh, Jared, you're saying you're a lot like the guy I'm dating. I'm sorry to say, I'm not really saying anything I don't believe, and it's hard for me to believe that someone you're dating is 100% different than me. But let's start. I kind of thought it'd be fun to watch the trailer. I've never seen the trailer.
You've never seen it?
No.
Okay, so you want to see if people have a right to feel duped?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's a fun game for us to play. So, and maybe someone here hasn't seen that. So we're gonna watch the trailer. You guys can get our live reaction as it happens.
Hey, are you single? I'm a matchmaker. Give me a call if you want to meet somebody.
I deserve someone who fulfills all of my criteria.
Nothing over 20 BMI.
I don't want someone who likes cats.
I'm trying to settle.
I promise you're going to marry the love of your life.
How many marriages are you responsible for now, Lucy?
9. If the girl asks for a call, drink of water, with a salary over 500 grand, you deliver.
You're the matchmaker. You want a drink?
Sure. Coke and beer.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, John?
Definitely didn't expect to run into you tonight.
I missed you.
Yeah, you don't even remember my face.
Lucy M., the eternal bachelorette.
You can do better than me.
My instincts are usually right. Hi.
Wow. You know how to do the math, don't you? You are what we call a unicorn. An impossible fantasy.
How much is this apartment?
12 million.
Not gonna marry him, are you?
Why
Fucks him right
Because
there.
he's good looking and rich.
12 million.
Probably doesn't have
Comes.
roommates.
It was a nice apartment.
Beautiful.
When I see your face, I see wrinkles and children that look like you. So where does that leave us?
That part was very rom-com-y.
I don't think I'm very good
Yeah.
at my job anymore.
We promised them love.
But the math doesn't add up.
Why does anyone even get married?
Because they're lonely.
I love that we watched the trailer. Because
And because they're hopeful.
I'm turning 48 and I think I need to meet someone more grown.
I have a really beautiful client. She's 31.
I wasn't really thinking 30s.
Hey, everybody. Okay, now that we've finished the trailer, just a quick trigger warning. We will be mentioning sexual assault. That is a part of this movie and the conversation about this movie. So I want to give you a brief trigger warning before we get into it. All right. Now, do you think someone has a right, after watching that trailer, to feel they were duped?
The only reason I think that one might have a right is because of the sexual assault that comes in the middle of the movie.
Right.
Which I think was like the only thing where it was like kind of like fun and funny and like a little like pushing it, but then like that kind of made it much more serious feeling.
Right. Well, it was fun and funny, and then that happened. And then,
Right.
I mean, my whole theater gasped.
Gasped.
The
Wow,
whole
you had a
theater.
very activated theater.
Activated theater, packed theater, the whole theater, me included. I gasped.
Let me hear your gasp.
I
Your
went,
movie-
what? I went, oh, come on. I actually did that.
Okay.
And I mean, we can talk about that right away if
Sure.
you want. I think that part of the movie kind of told me everything the movie maker wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
I didn't think it needed that.
it didn't.
For me,
didn't.
I was like,
I think it
that's-
ruined the movie.
I kind of agree. I think it would have been, it felt like they were throwing something else in there that didn't need to be, wasn't fully broken down and just never fully fleshed out and didn't really need to be in there.
Right. If you saw that trailer, I mean, they show Sophie L in the trailer, and she's like the freaking out woman who's getting older and wants
I'm
to
ready to
find
settle,
someone. I'm
yeah.
ready to settle. And, you know, that woman could go in two directions in that trailer. She goes to funny, you know, lampooned version of woman who wants to settle down that can't find the right guy, or it goes in the direction that the movie took it, and it's like she's a tragic figure.
Right.
And my opinion, when I was told there was a turn in the movie before going in. And the minute I heard that part about the assault, I was like, there's the turn.
Right.
And I think that's a different movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it doesn't deserve a platform. I'm not saying it doesn't deserve to be acknowledged, but the movie we were getting up until that point was kind of like letting the audience decide for themselves what they thought of dating culture and matchmaking
Right.
specifically. And to me, like, it actually represented like a lot of discussions in society. Like, listen, if we want to have a discourse, I always say this podcast, dating is an uncomfortable conversation. We have it in a comfortable space. If you want to, there's a difference between a discourse and then winning the argument. Like, if you want to have a discourse about dating in 2025, this movie was doing that until the assault part.
Right.
I thought that her name's Celine Song.
Yeah.
I thought Celine Song she became a matchmaker to make this movie.
She was a matchmaker.
She was a matchmaker for
Okay.
like 6 months or a month, or I don't know how long, but enough to give herself credibility.
Right. That she knows how it works.
Knows how it
Okay.
works. I think to me, my opinion of Celine Song is she walked into matchmaking thinking it was bullshit. She walked out finding out why, you know, how right she, like how, you know, being proven right in her opinion that, oh, it's all about money and looks and all these disgusting things. And then there's an issue in all dating of assault, and it didn't need to really be brought up to like even like
right. I think that conversation, like you said, of course deserves to be had, but I think it almost like discredits it to put it in with all that other stuff because it's not getting fully fleshed out.
She wanted to be right. She wanted us to hate matchmaking because even the boss goes, "That's what happens,"
right?
And it's like, what else are you going to write for the boss? What else would the boss say? Yeah, we have insurance for this and we have lawyers for this.
Right.
The matchmaking company doesn't have lawyers for no reason. So like it was kind of her, and that's why I go back to Matchmaker Maria. Like I'm like, you took a hammer to the matchmaking industry.
Right.
That it, again, like we can make our decisions for ourselves.
I mean,
I thought it was kind of like, I actually thought it was kind of gross to put in the movie.
I didn't think it was necessary.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But again, good movie. This one thing didn't ruin the movie for me, but it just was like, okay, now we have, like, it's like, like if we were talking about dating and you just brought up assault,
right?
I would go, yeah, that takes our conversation in a wholly different.
That's a whole totally different thing to unpack here. Yeah.
So it kind of like takes the fun out of.
And it made it less.
Do you think I should date based on love or money? It takes that fun. We can't talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
We have to talk about this first.
Right. And then she like calls her a pimp, and that was like, makes her question the whole
fair thing to say when that has happened to you in her storyline.
Okay.
Like you're doing all this by math and databases. You didn't think to ask him 4 more questions. Like, and the idea that this super
what questions
hawkish,
could you have asked?
I don't even know.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
Like I'm more closer to the owner of the matchmaking company going, it's sad. Like, I don't know what what we want to, like, we try our best.
I mean, I agreed with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, anyone could cut us at the knees and go, how could you even say?
Well,
it's like the realities of the world. Do you either want
the Facebook groups?
The Facebook
Are
groups.
It's like kind of like that thing. Like, there's an argument to be made both ways.
Right. But I think the argument the other way, you sound heartless. The argument against, like, does this need to be brought up? Like, I think we know in all dating scenarios, like, adults know that there's risk involved. But
couldn't she have? I thought the conversation that she had with the boss when she quit, having almost nothing to do with the assault part, where she was like, people are saying these things to me that they would say, they wouldn't even say to their therapists. Like, what am I supposed to do when someone says to me, no blacks, no fatties?
Right.
That was, I thought that didn't even need the sexual assault thing to like have the power that she was talking about there.
I'm with you. It's because again.
It didn't even have anything to do with it.
Right. And listen, I'm someone who has met with a matchmaker Maria, like went through her process for this show. And the refreshing part was being able to say certain things to her that you never say out loud. But these are things we say to ourselves while we swipe.
Right. Well,
these are things we say to ourselves while we they check boxes. What do you think people are saying when they say they check boxes? Right.
Like the whole fit conversation is like not like a thing that no one thinks about.
Right. What did you think of like how it played out after that? Like, so we have this thing where she questions whether she should be a matchmaker or not because of, the assault angle. But really it comes down to, again, it wasn't necessary because it could have been her questioning matchmaking with this love or money
That's
debate
what I'm saying.
that
like,
Chris Evans
that
and
was enough to
Pedro
me.
Pascal kind of present to her.
Right. To me, it would have been more like just as realistic or even more realistic to have for her to be questioning the whole thing based on dating this super rich guy and like the math working out in her favor and her still not liking it.
Right. So what did you think of like the opening scene where she's like,
after the caveman?
The caveman thing, again, a little high-minded for me.
Yeah.
What did you think of her at the wedding? And
I was also like, I feel like the caveman love would have been a little bit like more violent than that. It was like a little, I don't know, it just seems
just brings a flower.
A little glossed over.
Right, there's no other man there vying for her love.
Right. They're like, he's treating her like very tenderly for like literally a caveman.
Right.
Yeah?
This is animals. This is like,
basically
not animals, but this is like animalistic times.
Yes.
Like you're eating, like the lion you brought home.
Right.
So what did you think of like the opening scene with her in the wedding and talking the girl kind of off the ledge a little bit.
Right, where she's like, what's the real reason that you're
right?
What's the real thing? I like that scene. Obviously, it's like, I think, oversimplified, but it's a movie, so like, fine. And the idea of I'm paying my parents are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for this wedding, and then she says, well, what's the real reason you want to? I've heard it all. You can tell me anything. And then she says, I think it makes my sister jealous, and I really like that.
Right. This is the part that kind of annoyed me a little bit with this movie,
Really?
where single people are made to be these awful people. You
think?
It kind of
maybe desperate.
Well, I guess it made anyone who stays single past a certain age has fraudulent reasons or like negative reasons for doing that. Like the men are all meant to seem like monsters who think they're too good,
But so are the
deserve
women.
better than they deserve. And then the women, she's staying single because she's got to outdo her sister. She's got to find a guy that outdoes her sister in some way. It's like, it just was like, it annoyed me that like every single person was like,
well, it's like
not allowed to have their own thoughts on things. What, because they grew up and found out their own taste?
I think the idea is like everyone is sort of like dating for superficial reasons. I don't think it means people who are still single. I think they're trying to say that everyone universally is dating for these superficial reasons and like not this like X factor of love, that it's all about. And that's like the matchmaking credo is like, it's like people who have similar family backgrounds, similar socioeconomic status, similar level of attractiveness. And that's what makes the perfect pair. It has nothing to do with what people would ideally like to think, which is that it's like this super strong connection or this super perfect match.
There's a chicken or egg thing to play out there where you go super strong connection because you have so much in common.
But are those real things you have in common? Right.
What does connection stem from? Similar family life, similar
values,
similar memories. How does connection even happen? That's like kind of a existential question that doesn't get really presented here. Like there's no one that's like in the meeting in the coffee shop being like, well, I'd like to marry Jewish because I would assume we have similar memories and similar, things we did over the holidays and like Chinese food on a Sunday.
Sure.
Like they're like, I want to marry, give me a big ass chick. It was like kind of, again, in a movie, it's tough to do that.
Right. Well, I think it's like, I think there's like levels of that, but I think like, and I think we would all like to think, and that's like the rom-com idea is that, this person and that person just like, having absolutely nothing to do with their background, having absolutely nothing to do with like how they look, just like fall in love because it's like pure. There's like a pure, like the purity of that. And I think most people are doing some level of calculations. And I think Dakota Johnson's character herself is the one who like you get to see it all play out, and she's the one who's like the most open about it, obviously, and verbalizing it the entire time. You see that in the flashback where she dumps Chris Evans, for being poor. She says right to his face, which most people would not do. Right. But I thought that was
he even
what did you think of that?
I actually thought that's the most like realistic part of the movie. Like you can't have it all. Chris Evans is probably, to me, was like the best part of the movie, like because 38 actor, 2 roommates, and his you could see his sense of self-worth played out through that. Like
it reminded me of a lot of the stuff you talk about like, but it's funny because he wasn't the one who wasn't looking to commit though. And you do always say that like men need to feel financially secure before they're like committing to someone.
Right.
But he sounded like she was the one who was messing with him.
Well, you could even see in that flashback, his eyes, like they show him looking so tired. Like it is like that's what I noticed. Is like, so to go back to kind of like the characters at play. So there's Lucy Mason, Dakota, John Finch, Chris Evans, Harry Castillo, Pedro Pascal. There's Sophie, who's like
the 39-year-old single woman
that she's like dead set on helping. Materialists, directed by Celine Song, is a romantic comedy set in New York City that explores themes of love, wealth, and personal identity. The story follows Lucy, Dakota Johnson, a successful matchmaker who prides herself on an ability to pair clients with ideal partners. However, she finds herself entangled in a love triangle with her charming ex-boyfriend, John, Chris Evans, and a wealthy financier, Harry, Pedro Pascal. As Lucy navigates her own romantic dilemmas, she begins to question the superficial standards she upholds in her matchmaking career. The film delves into the complexities of modern relationships, highlighting the tension between materialism and genuine connection. I think like it's funny to call this modern dating, because the idea that this hasn't been happening throughout time, I think the modern part is having options.
Right.
Like in another time, you had the people on your street and the relatives of those people on your street.
Yeah.
So of course, as far as socioeconomic, you're going to be within a very specific range.
Right.
Because it's your block and those houses on that block cost the same amount of money, if you really think about it. But nowadays, when you get on a dating app, it kind of shows you the greater, bigger world.
Right.
So you do, where Dakota Johnson has this choice of like guys she's dated, a past.
I thought it was interesting that she's supposed to be this like great matchmaker. She doesn't look like she's that good at it. Was like the weird part. Like all the people, no one, they'd never show her with like a really excellent date. Like I guess like the people, they're saying the people got married, but even they're at the wedding of the person she got married to, and the person doesn't even really like the person. So I'm like, why is she seen as this like? She doesn't seem that good at her job. Even when she's like talking to the clients, like there's nothing. I don't know. Like I don't know if I would hire her.
To me, this goes back to them kind of like this the maker of the movie Celine.
Yeah.
Hating matchmakers.
But she's supposed to be good. She has a character who's supposed to be like. She's like the J-Lo in The Wedding Planner of this movie. I kept thinking about like The Wedding Planner for some reason because it felt like there was like the parallel of like that was more of a rom-com, a little bit less deep than this.
Right.
Where have you seen The Wedding Planner?
I think I have.
J-Lo's like the wedding planner who's like always single, and then she like falls in love with the groom of the wedding she's planning. Mm-hmm. So it reminded me of that a little bit, but in that J-Lo is actually like a pretty good wedding planner.
Well, I think her getting people off their list seems to be a big win. Like
he checks a lot of our boxes,
right? The fact that she has 9 marriages.
Yeah,
you go 9. Shouldn't it be more if she's like this great?
How many years? Yeah,
but it almost felt like they wanted to show that like. I don't know. It felt like
doesn't
they
work.
that it's hard.
Yeah.
That it's hard to find 2 people. But like the way she talked about it, like it felt like it wasn't like people as much as it was like get them off, get these clients out of our hair.
All these entitled, annoying people who think they deserve a lot more than they do. Like, well, then just like match them up and
get them out.
Throw
and that's
people,
what makes you good at it. Not that you found love, it's match them out and get them out.
Right.
Because the scene in the wedding where she's
find
brought
the piece that fits with this person's stats.
We got to smash these puzzle pieces together and make a puzzle out of this.
A lot of smoking in this movie.
A lot of smoking.
Some would say
smoking's back.
Smoking is back.
Smoking's back. Gen Z loves a
smoking
good
is
cig.
cool.
Yeah, they made her look cool.
A lot of smoking.
They also
she had that cool cigarette holder.
Did she? I didn't even notice that.
I don't even smoke, but I would like one.
Right, just to hold gumming.
Right.
Even the way they made the matchmakers cheer like they were sorority girls, like during the party, it was to me like them looking down on anyone who would do this.
Right. Look, we found another loser for this loser.
Right, and look at us losers who only go thinking marriage or no marriage.
Right. Well, if they have that, especially in the conversation that Dakota is having with like her other matchmaker friend, where they first talk about the leg extending surgery, and she's like talking shit about her client.
Right.
Sophie L, where she's like fine attractiveness, fine like family background, fine education, but there's nothing that stand out about her, and there's nothing niche for anyone in a niche market to hold on to.
Right. That to me is why I would assume people didn't like the movie. Like the way
because it's saying being average isn't enough.
Yeah. And again, I was next to like 3 young women, and they got they got their feet up and they're laughing at like the single scenes.
Right.
And then like shit like that, you go, ugh, is that how people are looking at people?
Right.
Is that how people are speaking of me? Like Sophie L, if you really think about her, she's like, they talked about her like she was a mess. I was like, she's cute. They do the close-up angles of her, and she's always crying or trembling.
Right.
But like, I was like, she's hot,
Well, it's
and
like
she's
her-
a lawyer. She's making like even the idea, and this kind of like, I think this is like a societal 2025 thing, the idea of like looking on social media and seeing all the people that are doing huge European vacations, and you're like, how am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get like personally like offended. Sophie L's making what, 300 grand a year, living in the city, good looking, fit. She is fit. Like
Right.
she's like, and we're sad for her. Do you know what I mean? Like that was like the enraging part is like, she's the one that we're like.
Well, I think with Sophie L's, I like how we're calling her Sophie L. Sophie L's desperation is sort of what makes her like less dateable. I
Right,
think.
but she's also the most
Yeah.
relatable person in
Right.
the whole movie.
Totally.
She's the person who's going on the dates, trying. She's us, she's me, she's our audience. You know, she's going out and having these doubts of like, why aren't I enough?
Right. But also,
and she's
also
right, and someone-
questioning herself, and if she's too, is he actually 5'11"?
Right. And so she has like taste. She has taste. She has her own things that she wants, but she's not asking in her belief or in my
Right.
belief for too much.
Right.
You know, I didn't think Sophie L was ridiculous.
No.
I thought the way she's going on dates, I could understand like it being like, okay,
Her giving off a vibe.
giving off a vibe, right? I'd be
Well,
like,
that's what I'm saying. I thought that was her biggest issue. Nothing.
Right.
She does seem like a great catch, I think, objectively. But that almost to me goes to prove the point that we talk about on here, that like your attitude is sort of half of it.
but we never even saw her on a date, and we just assume she's a fucking crazy person.
Well, all the
We
scenes
didn't even have one
we
scene.
see of her, she's like complaining or crying.
But that's her with her like confidants,
Right.
Like those are the people she should be complaining and crying to. She's complaining and crying to her,
Right, the
her
person she's
matchmaker.
paying, yeah,
right? She's
right.
paying her probably $30,000.
Wow.
Like think
Yeah.
about that. Like that's a going rate,
Mm-hmm.
and she's making 300. She took 10% of her pay, pre-tax,
Right.
to pay someone to like help her out, and then she brings her a guy who's like no fatties. like
Right.
like Dakota.
Well, that's why I'm saying she's not a good matchmaker.
Right.
Maybe she should find another job.
And she did talk like she was a hot shot, but then over the course of the movie, she does kind of say, well, I'm just a failed actress who does this now.
right.
And again, to me, that was like the main point of Celine Song. I'm sorry to keep bringing this up. But
That
like,
she doesn't like matchmakers.
she thinks it's a bullshit profession.
Right.
She
I
thinks
don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that
Right.
as well. I think the dirtiness of it is the dirtiness of the world. Like
Right.
Like
I think they could easily show another movie about like a really good matchmaker. Like I don't think
Right.
they weren't showing anything that looked like, there was really, it didn't seem like anything was done really thoughtfully.
right. It did, especially
The
when
way you
you're-
would set up a friend.
especially when you have the alpha fees screaming and yelling over a cake over an engagement.
Right.
You know,
it's
like-
like you just want to get it done to get it done.
Right. You're just a goal. You're just a number on a board, And I mean, let's go over kind of like the
plot?
But
Yeah.
I think the plot,
Right.
like, if we want to go
Overall,
over just
yeah.
like, like it starts with her going to this wedding where she's like brought, again, that scene also didn't really match the movie. Her like being the fairy godmother.
Right. Why would you call your matchmaker in if you're having a breakdown on your wedding day?
And what bridesmaid is going to the matchmaker?
Right. No, that didn't make any sense.
No
Yeah.
sense. Like there was no
You probably wanna-
annoying friend in that group who's like, I take care of this
Yeah.
shit.
I think anyone also is not like trying to like publicize that they have a matchmaker.
Right. That's not, you're not like giving them a cling toast at the
Right.
wedding.
And they're not like the person coming into your room before the thing and then like you're
the only one that can help. And it's like the 26-year-old, chick who
Right.
introduced you to this guy.
they didn't even seem particularly like friendly.
And the one thing to take away from her pump up of the woman is like the way she turns.
The negative into a positive.
Right.
Yeah.
To say, like, I like that I can put this in my sister's face. And then she says, well, he makes you feel valuable. I thought that was interesting because it's the way, and then later in the movie, not to get ahead too
Right.
much, but she says to him, to Pedro Pascal, the rich guy, you make me feel valuable.
Right.
So it is something, it kind of, to me, it showed you can get married with that perspective. She could have
100%.
done it,
Yes.
in the way that other woman did
Well,
it.
that was repeated a lot. I noticed that actually a lot. People saying that kind of thing. Even Chris Evans says this to her, and Sophie L says this to her, where they both say at different points, like, I think, well, Sophie L says, you must think I'm worthless.
Right.
And Chris Evans says that to her too. You must think I'm worthless. There's a lot of like discussion about like your value as a match and your equating to like your value as a person. Like
Even Dakota
the
says
people
that to
will
Pedro
date you.
Pascal.
Yes, the people that will date you determine your value on the dating market, which I don't think there's nothing to.
Right. That's
like your higher ability, it speaks to your value on the job market.
Right. Well, I think also that goes to the Twitter sphere that why was there this negative smog around this movie? That's got to be part of it.
Right,
Like, no
but
one
I don't
wants
think that's
to hear
untrue.
That. No one on social media, the land of the victim. Do you want to hear that your victimhood is why you're not dateable?
Right.
Like-
or even when she says to Chris Evans, oh, your roommate is engaged, the unpublished author at 37, like that's great for him. Who else would marry him?
Right. And it's
Reminded me of our conversation with Dr. Glick.
right.
The miserly lifestyle.
The miserly lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, it is. I thought that was the most interesting part of the movie, but also the one that was toughest to eat.
Yeah.
So she goes to this wedding. She meets Pedro Pascal.
Brother of the groom.
He's the brother of the groom. He is the quintessential
Unicorn.
New York finance hot guy.
Yes.
And with a heart of gold that it's just never worked out for him. They never really. Weird that she never asked about why
Past relationships.
Yeah, and how he ended up here, or
Why it's funny because like when she's dating him, they have this whole conversation about. He's like, you're basically only you don't think you can date, you're good enough for me because you're only thinking about material things. But
Right.
like, I'm thinking about non-material things and like how they can only get better with time. But it's like, what are her non-material assets that are so great that they're getting better? She said she's not particularly nice. She's kind of shallow.
Right.
She's well dressed.
Well, I think to me, like they left out kind of the part, like why is she someone that he goes to and not goes to Sophie L? And it goes back to like this, the horrible thing to hear, which is like
She's hotter?
attitude. I think attitude. Well,
Both,
hotter, like I think Sophie L could put herself together a little bit more confidently and look
Sure.
just as good as Dakota Johnson's character. But Dakota Johnson's character walks around that wedding like she fucking owns the place. She pep talks the bride.
Right.
She says, I don't want to find a guy, when she does, but like not really like
She's the
on her
confidence to
mind.
say the next guy I'm gonna marry.
Right, and he better have a lot of money. And to him, who's in finance, like there's a value to that. Like you're a mountain for me to climb. I've climbed that mountain. Now I want your mountain.
Right.
So that to me was like, why is he in it for her? Well, you told me I can't have you. Now I need you.
Right.
Like you're the woman at the wedding
Which is
everyone's
enough.
talking about.
Which is enough for some people.
Absolutely. I think that's enough for a lot of people. I think that's like, if you go to a wedding, you know this. Every wedding you've ever been to, the single people are announced, and then there's one person that everyone's like, oh, and yeah, that person. And
Right.
she kind of had that vibe at that wedding, where it's like he takes the card, he throws it
She's
away,
right. She runs everything. Yeah.
runs the show, and so they get into this like we should date. He's like kind of like pushing a date on her, and she's like, well, you can be a client,
Right.
and then Chris Evans shows up with the beer and the Coke. Oh my God, we hear about another relationship. They have this. It feels worn
Seemingly
in.
on again, off again thing.
Seemingly, and they do feel like two people who know each other very
Right.
well. And we get the flashback of, I thought that it was him kind of letting her go as well. Like,
Right.
she's dumping him because he's not rich enough, but he's also saying, I can't afford you. He's bringing up money, that whole conversation.
Yes, I agree. I didn't think she came off as as big of a monster as maybe she's like internalized that she is, or that he lets her believe that she is.
Right. Because he's choosing acting.
There's a couple of things. I think one, it would be very annoying to date someone where you can't. I don't think that there's like that she's a horrible person for wanting to be with someone who could park. Also, didn't make any sense that he had a car in the city. That would be very expensive and unnecessary. He could easily.
It was a
just take-
weird. It was a weird
for
thing
someone with
for him
no
to
money,
need.
right? For someone
Yeah.
with no money that you'd be paying for parking and then driving into the city for like a
Right.
whatever.
It would
All
be,
that
maybe
lease
you have
trip-
a car, but that's not why you use the car.
Right,
Yeah.
to drive to dinner and then having to park, whatever. That part annoyed me. It was like, just this guy is just
And they're in the
financially.
middle of like, they're on like 49, they're on like 50th and Broadway. I used to work there when I sold life insurance. Like they're by the, where they sing on the Stardust Diner.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
and it's like, of all the places to bring a car. Like,
Right.
you
And
just-
she's like, I told you that they were going to be charged.
right.
It's not, I thought it was like more than the finances. He's like not,
Well, to me, I
not
agree.
trying.
Well, I thought he's trying to me, that goes back to why he looks so tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it felt like someone where his acting, his auditions were number one. To be able to do that, he had to have other jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number two. And then he's doing whatever he can to figure out a girlfriend on the side.
right.
And because I thought it did a really good job of showing that.
Yeah.
Where she's kind of the last thing thought of, but he does care about her.
Right. Well, but that's not presented in the movie as the reason that it's not working. The reason
Right.
presented is that she's so shallow that she needs to be with a rich guy.
Right. If they had, I think it is interesting to me that in his mind, if this acting thing worked out, we're together forever, we love each other.
Right.
And you just have to like believe that.
Right.
Like we don't know.
We don't know what he'd be like.
What he, right.
Successful Chris Evans.
What's
like, yes.
what's Captain America Chris Evans like?
Yeah.
You know, like, and I do think she was too hard on herself. I didn't think of her as a monster
Not at
for
all.
ending things with him.
Right.
But you do have this money thing, and then that becomes the central theme of the movie. Because she starts dating Pedro Pascal, they start getting into it, and he's taking her to like every nice dinner.
Yes.
And I thought it was interesting to see. Did you think her and Pedro like seemed like a couple?
Not really. I mean, I didn't really think they had amazing chemistry.
Right.
He also seemed a little old for her, if I'm being
Okay.
And then another thing there's small plot things that annoyed me. His sheets, while looking very comfortable, there's no blanket.
Satin sheets. This is always like the rich guy thing.
Right, that's how they show. But
satin sheets.
You'd be cold.
I'm not a satin. I've never even slept in satin sheets. Have you?
Yes, and V is also adding in that the kitchen was quite small for a $12 million apartment.
Well, was it in Tribeca? Was that the whole idea?
Maybe.
That it's a $12 million place in Tribeca?
That's not enough to get you a good sized kitchen, I guess.
Right, I guess not. Not
Yeah.
these days. Not in this
Yeah.
economy.
So she thinks she's found the unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
He's about to take her to Iceland.
She finds the ring that he's going to propose with.
Quite quick.
So
Yeah.
quick for not really
She meet his parents?
Yeah, I would assume at the wedding.
Anyone meet anyone?
They don't really give us...
They don't give us a lot of 360 background on her, which I thought. Like, she didn't have
Right.
that much character development. Like, they just said she had a poor, messy family.
Right, and them as a couple, like, you see them going out a lot, but I didn't think of them as, like, getting together.
Right.
Like, and maybe that was on purpose. Maybe that was
Maybe that's
to show...
the nature of their relationship.
Well, because that night she finds out, she sees in the bed his scars, and I was surprised. Were you
Same.
surprised?
I didn't understand at first.
Me
It took
neither.
me a second.
And
Yeah.
then people in the theater started laughing.
Yeah.
And we find out that he got the leg lengthening surgery.
And his
that
brother.
She and his brother, a 2-for-1 special
Yeah.
that they had brought up earlier in the movie. When they brought up earlier in the movie, I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I guess that is something people do.
I thought it was like a joke. Like, I didn't think that was real until after when I Googled it, and that's actually
Oh,
a
it's-
surgery that you can get.
That was an option for me.
What?
I'll be personal.
Because of your shorter leg?
I have one leg an inch and a half longer than the other.
Okay.
And they give you like 3 options. And one of the options is to get lengthening surgery.
But
And
yours would be like half an inch, right? Or something?
inch and a half.
Inch and a half,
Let's
sorry.
not, lessen my pain.
Okay.
But
That is significant.
I had I had a lift on my shoe.
Okay.
And then I got one leg. You have 4 growth plates in your leg. So the other option, the more reasonable option, is to get one growth plate, shut down. So they drilled a hole
To make
into
you
my,
shorter.
basically stop the growth in the longer leg
Okay.
to let the other one catch up.
Okay.
So
When was this?
I was like 14 years old, 13 years old.
Did
So
you wear like a brace or something?
I wore I had a thick thing on my shoe.
Okay. Did you get made fun
The
of?
Spice Girls were at their height
Platforms?
with platforms, and I'm wearing a platform
Did
shoe.
you get teased?
I think I did. I think I made jokes of it. I don't have like horrific memories from growing up and like getting called, Scary Spice.
Right.
But one of the options is to lengthen the shorter leg.
Okay.
And it's funny because at the time it was like, well, that's an option, but you're not going to do that. Like it takes like a year.
Okay.
Quite literally,
But
it
you
takes
did
a
that.
year to recover from. Whereas drilling into one of your growth plates is like a month and then you're fine. Like it's or whatever. It wasn't as involved. So when they brought up that like surgery, I was like, that's like, can you imagine? But when you go from 5'6"
To 6 feet.
to 6 feet, it is a life changer.
That's legit. Yeah.
Is that worth a year of your life to go from, would that be worth a year of your life?
For my life to go from 5'6" to 6 feet?
If you've met a guy who went from 5'6" to 6 feet, would that change how you perceived him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like for me personally, I think for my own like dating criteria.
Right.
Not for
So
not for his value overall, but for his value as a match for me.
6 months in, you're dating, everything's great. You find out that he's got leg lengthening surgery.
Yeah.
How are you in or are you out? Are you changing?
It would definitely be a big red flag, I think, for me.
So play it out. What would you do?
Or 6 months in.
You're 6
Here's the
months
thing.
in, you're enjoying everything about him. He says, I gotta say, Jordana, this has been a special relationship for me, but now is kind of the time that I have to bring this up. 3 years ago, I got leg lengthening surgery, and I used to be 5'6", and now I'm 6 foot.
I would have so many questions. I'd be like, so everyone who knew you before, what do you tell them?
I just said that I wanted to be taller.
Right. Here's the thing. I think that someone who would have that surgery would have a different personality than like the person that I would date.
Well, that's why
think
the
it would
Pedro
be part of
Pascal
it,
character
yeah.
starts to make sense.
Right.
You find out and you go, oh, why is he this quiet,
Actually
like
quite
subdued,
insecure.
insecure?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Someone said to me, and I disagreed with this, that she got the ick after seeing the scars.
I don't think about the scars, but I think she was like, now I actually feel like I know you.
Right. I thought it was the first time they got to know each other. They seemed like a couple.
No, she was always,
In the movie.
and then he said it's hard to not think that this is about the legs.
Right. And that got a big laugh in the theater.
Right. But I actually kind of agree with the person you're talking to. I do think she was like,
You thought that was the moment? You don't think it was seeing the ring?
no, I think it was the leg.
Really?
Yes.
So, this is kind of the part of the movie that gets hard to swallow.
Yeah.
Because you go, if you're 5'6",
Yeah.
you're like, damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Well, I think it's more about like the confidence that comes with
Right.
whatever you could have one leg, an inch and a half shorter. I think if you had confidence, no one would care.
Right.
I think that's, or you
That's how I go through my life.
you'd be attractive to some people and not attractive to others, just like
Sure.
everything else that you.
So you
have.
think it's the cover up, not the crime?
Kind of. I think if you were like upfront about it, I mean, it sounds like an
When do you bring it
extensive
up?
surgery.
It's a
Yeah.
year. It's quite literally a year. This isn't like, again, I know from a certain experience in
Right.
my life that
I
it was
think
like, when it was presented to me, it was like, you don't want this one. Leg lengthening is like crazy. Only a crazy
Yeah.
person would do that.
I think it's a double standard, and I don't think it's right. But if I'm
Boob job.
if I'm being honest, I don't think boob job seems as bad. I think it's a double standard. I don't think it's right, but I think I would be very turned off.
No, I'm with you. I'm more curious because I was like watching that scene. I was like, he's a good guy. Like, again, to go back to the box checking thing
Right.
that this whole movie was about.
You said you got to invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
She's going, and then she points at her nose.
Well, like would Chris Evans do the equivalent to become rich? Would he?
I don't think that's a possibility. If he played the lottery,
I don't know. If he could go through the pain of a leg lengthening surgery to get rich, I don't know.
I don't know if there's an equivalent money.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Let's say he did a sexual act on a high-level executive to get ahead and become a famous actor.
It was consensual.
I got something for it.
And you knew what the deal was going in.
To me, is that the same as the leg lengthening? You didn't believe in your career enough and your ability in acting enough to get to the next
Well,
level.
someone
So
might
you
say,
did
like,
this?
yeah, I guess for both things, you might say that's the way the world works.
Right, but would you be as unattracted to him?
I would think I would still be turned off by that. Yes.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering. This is to me.
Right.
That's the I'm trying to find equivalencies.
Yeah, I think they're all.
To the
it
rich
all
one
sounds
versus
icky.
right.
Yeah.
But the unfair part of life is like, oh, I got a boob job. I would never.
What if she told you she bound her feet to make them smaller?
I'm not a foot guy. I wouldn't even.
But that's it's more like the idea that she felt like she
It
needed
wouldn't.
it.
But I mean, boob job to me.
Boob job just seems more common. I don't know.
Of course it is. But I'm just saying,
More
like,
normalized.
what's the difference as far as like
What
I
if
don't
she
like
got
how I look
What if she
or
got
feel
enormous boobs?
enormous.
Enormous.
I'd be like, thank God.
You're
above
fine?
For
She went
giving
with
me
that-
This beautiful gift. No.
You're cool with that?
I
She
guess
went
I'm
like
fine.
sort
They
of
would have to
almost,
fit,
almost
boobs
like
gotta fit your body. If they
almost
don't
like
fit-
cartoon character.
Like it just didn't fit her body. I wouldn't be with her. I wouldn't be into her.
Right.
You know, like if it didn't go again, if his height didn't go with his
Yeah, body. Yeah.
you noticed it if he was on stilts.
Right.
I don't know. This is an uncomfortable conversation because that's how this movie kind of present. It's an uncomfortable
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
Like someone who saw this movie got leg lengthening surgery.
Yeah.
We have to assume.
I would imagine.
Can we look up how many people got leg lengthening surgery last year? Just as a hypothetical.
What did you think of the way the movie ended?
I thought it was very interesting, and I'm not sure if you took it away, but I did, was they go to that, so her and Chris Evans go to the country.
He packed a suit for some reason.
They packed formal wear
Yeah.
for their trip to Woodstock, and they crash a wedding,
Yeah.
and they kind of have an argument a little bit of like,
After they're making out at someone else's wedding on the dance floor.
right, and what was the argument about? It was
He was like, it sounded to me like it was almost like they had broken up and then they were in a little bit of a situationship where she kind of kept coming back when she felt like lonely.
Right.
And then not actually getting back together with him because he's poor.
right.
Also, it was weird that she brought Pedro Pascal to his play.
That's like I
sounded
think
like
when
mean.
what's that?
That felt mean.
Felt mean. I think that's like I think when you're in the power position, you get
Anything goes.
I think everything you do seems mean. Like she's
I
like,
thought it seemed mean.
Right, it did. And it's not like she's like, well, we're not like involved anymore. And he did want us to come to the play.
Right.
It was mean to everyone.
It was weird, yeah.
Because they also had met at the wedding.
Right.
They do know each other. It's not like they were
Seemed totally unnecessary.
It did seem unnecessary. She could have gone by herself.
Right.
And I don't think any of us would have like questioned why they didn't hook up afterwards.
No,
like
not at
it could
all.
have been a nice
Yeah.
night. So they have this argument, and then she gets a call, 911.
I was confused about
Sophie
that.
has a-
So the sexual assaulter had
Right.
come back and where they went on a date, or he just came to her apartment and was knocking on the door.
He came to her apartment because she goes, I shouldn't have let him walk me home.
From where?
The initial date where he did the assault.
Okay.
So the initial date with the assault, I guess he walked her home.
And then followed her in her.
And then
okay.
this next time he knew where she lived. And
Okay.
I guess to me, it was she had started some sort of procedure against him
And he was angry.
And he was angry
Okay.
and got drunk and showed up at her home. That was kind of
Okay.
the way I pieced it together, but they didn't do a good job
Right.
of like
explaining why he was
she
doing
did
that.
say on the phone, I shouldn't have let him know where I live, which I thought was stupid. Like what are you gonna do?
Not necessary. Yeah.
Right. So like we're driving home. So they come back to kind of save the day. She gets let into the apartment. She kind of spends the night, and Chris Evans is like kind of lets her off, and then they're together.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Where he says, the only thing I can promise you is to love you forever.
well, I did think he hinted at I'm coming to you a little bit.
I'm going to get a real job. Maybe.
He basically said
Yeah.
that. I mean, right?
Sure.
He goes, well, I could pick up a more catering shifts.
Also, he's had hasn't they broken up 5 years ago? Why didn't you just do that in the past 5 years?
He's still following his. Though to me, that's that's why they break up. He's
Right.
not. She's not going to change that. She wants someone who can financially be in a relationship. Which there's a cost to being in a relationship. I think that's uncomfortable to hear too.
Right.
And then he wasn't going to give up his dream. He was still going to try and act. Now he's still trying to act, and he's like, "I'll come to you and I'll pick up some more shifts." When he said, "I'll pick up some more shifts," to me, he is done trying to be an actor. He is now bought in on the relationships first. It's late for everything.
Right.
It's late for acting. It's late for the relationship.
To me, I was kind of like, I didn't think she should have ended up with either of them.
Right.
Like, you doesn't have to be like 37-year-old guy with like 2 disgusting roommates waitering with like absolute who can't pay $25 for a garage fee. Or it doesn't have to be like billionaire with a $12 million apartment. If she values someone who's like ambitious and can support himself well and take her to dinner, there's nothing wrong with that. She could find an option C that she really likes to do that. I don't understand why she had to have the flower ring with the halal truck with this guy. Like she suddenly doesn't care a day later.
Well, I think he becomes suburban guy. Like
she
think,
also isn't working.
Right? 2 people with no jobs. Yeah. They're gonna live under that bridge she was taking the call from.
It just didn't make sense to me. It's like, why does it have to be one of these 2 guys?
Well, she's believing that their love is like a real thing, and I think like to me, both of them are putting love first. Like she's basically like, our love will figure it out. And he's like, our love will figure it out and I'll stop acting.
I would love to see the flash forward to like a few years later. See if that's still, if those problems just magically solve themselves.
I thought about that a lot. I was like, what's the future that they could have?
Wouldn't work.
I think you would have to, for them to work, they would have to move to that upstate town where they crashed the wedding.
Right.
He starts his own catering company because he knows the business a little bit. And they end up like, it does okay. And he makes an okay living doing catering.
But they can
living
afford
a
it.
modest lifestyle. And they have this hometown and she ends up going into marketing up there. And you have to basically.
He'd have to become a different person though. Overnight.
So would she.
Yeah.
I think they both, to me, that was like the end of the movie is like, we can't have it all. Mm-hmm. You know, like.
But to me, it was like, why can't you have something closer to what you actually want?
He's the closer to what she wants. No. She's the closer to what he wants. Like,
she's the closer to what he wants. That's what he keeps saying. He doesn't think there's anything negative about her. But for her, it's like she values a certain lifestyle, which is fine.
Right.
It doesn't mean she has to be with Pedro Pascal, who like.
Sure, you don't need a private jet.
You don't have to not like you could find someone you like that also makes an okay live, that is not a like 37-year-old actor in a bad play. With a miserly lifestyle.
I think, to me, it was saying kind of like, I don't know, I think she's, she would spend maybe her life comparing every next person to the love she had with this guy.
Seemingly only dated 2 guys.
Seemingly. Seemingly those 2 guys have been able to get through. But I kind of saw it that way, where it's like, maybe I got this thing in my hand that I've already gone and seen what it's like to meet a really nice guy with $1 billion and it did nothing for me. Mm-hmm. So now I'm with a guy who I really like and like can deal with the hard times with.
She can't deal with the hard times.
Well, I mean, I think that's what she's like entering into.
Right.
And it did see, I mean, when I heard him say I could take some more shifts,
right,
I was like, acting done.
No
like,
one ever
decided. Right. He's decided what comes first.
Well, it's funny, like, no one ever says anything positive about her personality.
No.
Like in the entire movie, there's like him, it's like, okay, he's
she's
like waiting.
She's not funny, she's not smart. She's like a good
She's not that good at her job.
Huckster. What?
I'm saying she's well dressed, she's hot. But like there's seemingly like no super redeeming qualities about her personality other than that she's like confident.
Right.
But also like not confident.
She's good with words. She's a good saleswoman. I would consider her that.
I guess.
If I'm Chris Evans, I'm saying, hey, thank you for bringing me down here. Sophie L., I can help you. And your $300,000 a year salary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sophie L. is probably the best candidate for Chris Evans.
Seriously.
If you think about it.
I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't picking up some modeling gigs. He's pretty attractive. Doesn't really make any sense to me.
He looked great. Chris Evans, I think this was like the ultimate like Chris Evans win.
What?
Who do you think won the movie? Who do you have as like the
Of course Chris Evans won. He got the girl and he didn't have to do anything.
Well, he's got to give up his dream of acting.
So he says.
Well, this is what I believe. So, what did she give up? $1 billion.
She quit her job.
That she hated.
But she liked until like a week ago.
Right. All of a sudden. That she weirdly didn't think of. She's this like smart go-getter. Never crossed her mind that she's like an assault could happen.
Right.
Like it's kind of weird.
And also, she is still thinking in terms of like finances. And she says that to him. Like, when you professed your love to me, I just kept thinking like, what would our life look like?
Right. Well, I think that's like, it's kind of the message of the movie, where like if you look at like you're looking at the pie chart. You know, she looked at the pie chart with Pedro Pascal and was like, okay, we're gonna go to Finland. We're gonna have this huge ring. I got this apartment, but I'm with a guy who I know used to be 5'6" and has
who I don't really like.
titanium in his legs, and I don't like.
There's not a real
And then
connection.
she goes and she looked at that pie and she went, not for me.
Right.
And then she looked at Chris Evans' pie of like little mystery, don't know what's gonna happen.
Smoker, just like me.
Smoker, just like me. We can share cigarettes. He always carries around a suit to go to formal occasions. And that was a more interesting pie to her. Like
For now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
Materialists too, them fighting over paying for diapers. I don't know.
I don't know.
It didn't. Well, I agree with you.
Well, she said, I don't need you to support me. I can support myself. What if they have kids?
She's gonna need him to support him. I think that's like a very.
That's what I'm saying. I would love to see Materialists 2, 5 years down, them living in upstate New York, if this actually works out. I just don't think the people change that fast.
Let's play some red flag deal breaker
And I also
based on the movie.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I also just think one last thing on this is that I think that if he was gonna change, people change for themselves. People
Right.
don't change for other people. So if he's gonna be picking up the extra shifts, scaling back on the acting, wanting to be a real person, he would have done that already. He's had 5 years since they
Right.
broke, since she told him he was too poor for her.
I think he's in the same way. She's like, he's my bridge to love and a loving lifestyle. That could be that for him too. Like, she's the better bridge to a life of, two people that love each other. I mean, that's the sappy, weird ending to a movie that was so mathematical.
Right.
That's why
I didn't buy it.
It takes a weird ending turn to go so mystical, so love will conquer all, when the whole movie is telling you, like, these mathematical equations will find you your suitor.
Right. Well, she says that they are well suited to each other. They're both bad family, poor.
Right. So
Hot, bad family, poor.
So they'll figure it out.
Yeah. So technically, she's like, the mathematical equation just does work out.
Right. So maybe
Kind of proves the point that
she
the
would have
match
matched them together.
Yes, she would have matched them.
Let's play red flag deal breaker real quick. Based on and if you like this episode, I want you to comment. If you're here right now, you must like this episode.
Let us know what you want us to review next.
Let us know movies, new or old. I like doing the new ones because they live in this world that we live in. Like it's current. The old ones are fun to talk about too because we can like make them current. Would it work today?
Yeah.
So those fun angles there too. Red flag or deal breaker, they have 2 roommates and they're in their 30s.
And they're 37.
37 with 2 roommates. Are you red flag or deal breaker?
Deal breaker.
Deal breaker.
Deal breaker. What about
Over. It's a red flag because if they gave me a good reason for it, then I would be okay with
The
it.
roommates can't be their parents.
The roommates can't be their parents. The roommates also could be, like, I do understand the idea of being like, I'm just having fun with my 2 friends and I don't have to do this financially.
To me, that means they're not serious.
I think a woman could not be serious in that way and then be serious the next day.
Potentially.
So
harder for men.
She brings her new boyfriend to her ex-boyfriend's play.
That was crazy. I didn't think it was necessary. It was kind of mean. Again, deal breaker.
Right. Yeah, just the way you're looking at everything. I don't think, to me, that's less serious than the roommates.
It's very self-centered.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're just not even thinking of everyone else's
Yeah,
feelings.
how they might feel.
He needs a calendar reminder to tell you he loves you.
That's fine.
I think I'm okay with that. I
Yeah.
put birthdays in my calendar all the time.
That's honestly more thoughtful than if you're than you're trying.
Right. Putting down the calendar reminder to do something for your partner
Make sure you don't forget it.
is in and in itself is thinking of your partner.
Yeah, I like it. Green
I
flag.
like it too. I think more calendar reminders is a good way to make your love life better.
Indeed.
So we solved dating and the materialists again.
We did it. We'll be back next time. Bye.
Boom.